Hello and welcome to Coffee with Keerthi. First of all, a very, very happy new year to everyone. And I have on this very first week of the year 2021, I have with us Shekhar Malani, the co-founder of Gyaniki. It's a pleasure, Shekhar, to have you with us. I know last year, 2020, has not been such a good year for everyone, but let's start this year with a
Yeah.
fantastic start here. So welcome to Coffee with Keerthi, Shekhar. How are you doing today?
Good, Keerthi. Thanks for having me here, and I'm doing fine. Pretty energized about this new year, and just like keeping 2020 in the history books. That's what all of us want. So,
Absolutely,
looking forward to a very good 2021.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you. Same to you. So thanks for bringing your coffee with you. Thanks so much.
Yes. So,
So,
yes.
so I tell this to everyone, who comes to my show now, since, a lot of things are gone online. So whenever we catch up, that's when I owe you a cup of coffee. But let's start with Gyaniki, Shekhar. I want to understand, how and when you guys started. You're one of the co-founders of Gyaniki, and you have more than 20 years of experience in automotive powertrains. You have a lot of experience. I think more than 5 years of experience in electronic vehicles. Sorry, electrical vehicles. Is that correct? EVs, right? So,
Yeah.
so, so,
Yes.
um, so a lot of background in the automobile industry, mostly, right? More than 2 decades of experience that you bring to the table. So tell us about, first of all, about a little bit about you briefly, and then
Yeah.
about Gyaniki, how you guys started and what's happening.
Right. So, just to go down to the basics, Keerthi, I do come from a business family.
Okay.
Though what I'm doing right now is not connected or not a part of the family business,
Uh-huh.
but it still takes its roots because the family business was always into automotive.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the luxury of spending my years as a off the role intern in the
Okay.
family business
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of years.
Okay.
And automotive back then was pretty mechanical
Mm-hmm.
driven, right? And my interest in the mechanics was fairly limited. I would be challenged if I would be asked to clear the mechanical engineering syllabus. I would find myself a bit challenged. Right. So my interest was always electronics, and
Mm-hmm.
right in 11th grade itself, I had the luxury of dropping biology and
Okay.
taking electronics, and that kind of sealed the element. So after engineering, I had gone to US to pursue my master's and work doing it in the control systems domain and kind of merging the automotive and my interest in electronics to get into this field of automotive electronics. And that's where I joined Cummins. I worked with Cummins in US and then back in India, and
Mm-hmm.
then started my firm Device Electronics in 2013, which has now stabilized on its feet, so as to say, and also survived COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in that way, and then this gap in the industry, the knowledge gap when this electric vehicles are coming. Everyone knows Tesla, right?
Right. Right.
But if I say, okay, what is the bill of material in that vehicle? There
Mm-hmm.
are people still looking for an engine. There are still people looking for a petrol tank.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
they are not getting this whole thing about what really makes a electric vehicle.
Electric.
And this knowledge gap, we have been looking at it for the past 3-4 years since we were working on this. And we felt that there has to be something to address this knowledge gap. But it was always on the back burner, right? Yes, someone needs to do it. Someone should prepare the next industry or the researchers with the right set of knowledge. And in 2020, when COVID happened and people were working from home, we looked at, okay, what can they contribute on? How they can, spend their time. And that is where this idea of, formalizing Gyaniki came through, wherein we had the luxury of having this workforce, which was sitting at home. And we also had, this element of the gap. So we decided to digitalize all our knowledge.
Okay.
All the knowledge that we had gained, along with the knowledge already available online, to make a single place platform for everything new in mobility. So when we say new in mobility, there are 4 words that keep on coming to everyone's mind. One is the electric. Now, instead of just saying electric, we call it more of a non-IC engine, because electric is right now battery based, but will soon be fuel cell based.
Okay.
Right. The second is connected vehicles. Vehicles connected with each other, connected with the infrastructure. The third, which we have all touched, is the shared mobility, wherein the Ubers and the Olas have been there, and now it's coming to the last mile connectivity, leasing options. People are not buying vehicles, some of them. And then the last is the ADAS and autonomous element, wherein we are saying there are a lot of features to aid the driver, to make the driver's life easier. And also then there is the ultimate goal of autonomous vehicle, which, in India, maybe not on the roads, but in the tractors and the fields, we would like to see that autonomicity, wherein you don't need a person sitting in the sun in the tractor and doing the work.
Correct.
Right? So these 5 areas, we decided to put all the knowledge together in a single platform, make it like a Wikipedia. So the name is also kind of inspired by Wiki. So the Gyaniki, the IKI is coming from the Wiki, and Gyan is the, the all knowledge word.
Okay.
And that is where the name came through, Gyaniki. So
Okay.
for us, the early part of the COVID, between say April to the mid-August timeframe, is where we worked on digitalization. When we thought that we had enough, we launched the platform in mid-August. And since then, we are seeing a lot of subscribers coming from the industry, as well as a few from the academia and the research field, who are making use of the knowledge database and using it for. So we think that this will bring in agility in the next round of innovation.
Okay. So when you say subscription model, Shekhar, about a platform, basically, Gyaniki is a platform for everything related to mobility, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are trying to bring in researchers, trying to bring in people interested in, let's say, new trends in the EV sector or just mobility sector per se, right? How does it all work? Who is the person, or who is the customer, or who is the person who's getting benefited here? In terms of what happens when I go to Gyaniki? Is it a website? Is it an app? Is it it's also a repository, right? You have libraries.
Yes.
Do you have videos in that? What exactly is it?
Yeah, so basically it's a multimedia content,
Okay.
you can say. We have videos, we have audios, we have a lot of research materials also on there. So it's a website per se. The website, you can create your account and get into it. The website is also accessible, or the data repository is also accessible on the cell phone very conveniently via SharePoint app of Microsoft.
Okay.
And within the repository, we have structured content in 6 areas. One is the manufacturers.
Okay.
So when we talk about manufacturers, we are talking about not just four-wheelers. See, a lot of times when people talk about mobility, we remain restricted to passenger cars. And maybe in India, we talk about passenger cars and two-wheelers. But there are a lot of other industry verticals in mobility, right? There is agriculture, that is construction, there is aero vehicles, there is the marine applications. So we are covering manufacturers of mobility vehicles all across the board.
Okay. Okay.
So every manufacturer has a page on Gyaniki.
Okay.
What are their models? What are their vehicles? What are the specs? And the links to their websites, the links to their videos, all of that is there. Similarly, all the suppliers. See, now with new areas of mobility, like when we say now camera is one of the bill of material of a vehicle. All right, we have radar sensors, we have LiDAR sensors, which are now coming in. And no one knows who are the suppliers. When you say controller, when you say tire, you know those suppliers, right? But now these new components, people don't know. So what are these components? Who are the suppliers? What are they supplying? What components? What motors? What batteries? And the specifications for that, the details of that.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Then also the technologies. There's a lot of new terms coming in. What do these terms stand for? What is this feature all about? You know, so there are a lot of like if I say today, like in your cell phone, you probably are using maybe 15% of the features that your cell phone can really offer. Maybe if it's a Apple, some of the people may be using only 5% of the features.
Correct. Correct.
And that's where the vehicle is also going.
Okay. Okay.
The vehicle is also becoming content rich. It is becoming feature rich. And maybe people will only use a very little, right? So how do they maximize it? So you need to understand the technology in order to be able to use it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Correct.
When you are starting the vehicle on a hill, some of the vehicles are equipped with features that will help you start the vehicle properly on a hill.
Absolutely.
But as a driver, do you know? As a developer of that function, do you know? If you are making a new vehicle, do you want to include that kind of function?
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
So a lot
all of that is coming on the platform.
Lot of good information.
Becoming very easy to understand.
So there's a lot of good information out there that you guys are trying to put together, and I think for people who are enthusiasts normally, you know, who are into I don't know, some of my friends, they follow the car races, and you know, people who are really like my brother, he's really good, you know, into the cars, and he wants to understand a lot of things. Question here is that how is Gyaniki different from from other platforms? There are, I'm sure there are a lot of platforms. Earlier we used to be getting magazines which had the information. In fact, there are a lot of YouTube channels. There are some platforms, you know, like Car Deco, or I don't know, all these guys, they have the material content that I know we want to go and look into. So how is Gyaniki different from all those things?
Yeah.
Is it just one place you get everything?
Yeah. So like I would say one is the focus. We have a clear-cut focus on technology orientation. We don't talk about who's selling how many vehicles. We don't care about that. Okay. There are other places which are doing that and doing very efficiently, right? Plus, the repository is very structured. Okay. So what we did when we were developing the repository, we came up with an initiative which is called as a 5-click process. Whatever you want, if it is on the repository, you will be able to reach it within 5 clicks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? Tell me a website where you can get to the things, what you want within 5 clicks. Right? So we are very structured in the way we have organized the content. And that gives us a edge. Right? The other thing is the content is coming from a hand-picked team. So everything we are putting on there is going through a vetting process, is going through a classification process, and then going through it. Right? So there is a randomness. Randomness is avoided. Right? So for example, every day we pick up 4 pieces of recent news. Right? But we don't copy paste the news. We put it as Gyaniki views. What do we think about it? What do our expert panel thinks about it? Right? So that there is a much better absorption of the material. Otherwise, recently there is a news, Ola is setting up a plant in Hosur to make electric two-wheelers. Yes, but what is the wider impact? What does it do to the other players? So that is the view that we bring on the table.
Very interesting.
Right.
So again, talking about all of these news, views, and everything, is it only curated by your team and uploaded, or written, or you guys also have a community that is, that is enriching, or that's adding a lot of value to the knowledge that you have? Because a group of 10 people or 20 people can only do so much, but if you have a community who's building that kind of content, that makes a bigger difference. So do you guys have that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the community is there, but the community does not put material directly. Okay. So for example, an extended community that we use is a WhatsApp group that we had actually built up 4 years ago, just for getting to things like this, wherein today we have 250 members who are related in this industry. So whatever they feel worthy of getting onto the platform, they put it out on the group, and then the team picks up from that point and takes it in. Right? One thing that we have to realize about this platform, there is no paid marketing here. Zero paid marketing. Right? There is no paid content. There is no bias. So even when I wear my other hat of the other company, we do represent a few companies in India. We make our own products. None of them are highlighted or given any preference at Gyaniki. So Gyaniki is a totally unbiased platform. And that is why we have not given edit rights to external members. Right? Secondly, it's not a forum and it's not a marketplace. So it is guiding you to a supplier, but ultimately whatever you want, you can connect with the supplier and do it. So so we are avoiding that marketplace concept and focusing on the technology flow.
And all the information, contact information of people or suppliers or wherever I want to reach, is that available on Gyaniki, or do I have to? Of course, it's a subscription model. So how does it work? What
Yeah,
happens?
so that information, if it's available with us, it is there. Otherwise, at least the link to the website of that company is there,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So it can be one step or a two-step process. So we reach out to companies to take their official material that we can host on the platform. Some of them do give, some of them decide not to.
Yeah.
So there we can guide to their page.
Okay. Okay. So very interesting angle to look at, Shekhar. You know, when you talk about automobiles and EVs and a lot of things to do with mobility. What is your vision for Gyaniki? What do you see it as happening in the next or becoming basically in the next maybe
Right.
5-10 years down the line?
Yeah. So a lot of what we have talked about till now is our online presence. Similarly, we are doing a lot of offline activities,
Okay.
wherein we are doing benchmarking exercises.
Mhm.
We are taking down a vehicle, completely stripping it down,
Okay. Okay.
looking at all the parts, what is the cost of the parts.
Okay.
We are developing reports on that in order to help the industry to optimize the next round of solutions.
Okay.
What features a vehicle is offering, what is the cost of the bill of material, how does one vehicle of one manufacturer compare with the similar vehicle of another manufacturer.
Okay.
So all these are starting to happen. So we have just completed our first teardown report in November,
Okay.
which was of electric two-wheeler.
Okay.
And we have done a complete study on what are the next materials that are going to trend in the automotive industry.
Okay.
So when we go, now the metal bodies of the vehicle are getting converted to fiber bodies. So a lot of material changes are happening within the vehicle. The tires are getting changed as well. Because the weight distribution of the vehicle is changing.
Correct.
So all of that we are doing complete technical reports. And these technical reports today are available to the members of Gyaniki. But in the future, we are also looking at how do we, create a name of the brand wherein such reports can be, made individually viable to access and to also sell.
Okay.
Right. So that's the future. And speaking of benchmarking, there are a couple of global organizations who do this work, but then they are doing for the top end vehicles.
Correct.
Right. Whereas 80% of the companies are making the low end vehicles.
Right. Right. Right.
Right. So we are concentrating on the low end side, wherein we can look at the specifications. And most of these components being new, everyone is looking for, comparison reports. Everyone is looking for cost studies. So that is where the platform is contributing. So the key objective for us is seamless flow of knowledge. Seamless, and for personally, a word that I keep on associating is unbiased.
Unbiased. Okay.
Because no platform is putting out a report which is not sponsored or which is not, guided towards helping someone's sale.
Understood.
And that is what we totally avoid.
Understood.
Right.
Understood. Because your revenue model is very different. You have an open, transparent model of subscription, so you can actually do that, whereas other media places won't be able to.
Yes.
So tell us about your team.
Exactly.
Tell us about your team, Shekhar. What is your experience? The team that brings Gyaniki together. Who are they? What do they do? And how do you guys put this together?
Right. So see, on the content side, we have a team of very energetic individuals who are looking at what is valuable for the platform on a daily basis. Right. So we have a set of people who are looking at the latest news. One of our interns actually started leading that entire effort and has been the key person in getting the latest news onto the platform in the right manner. Then we have a team which is looking at more on the technology side, which Harsh is leading, wherein he is looking at what kind of technical reports need to come out of the platform. Right. Similarly, whenever we are looking at a new article, we also come to know about new companies from different sources, right? So we see whether they are already present. If they are not, we get their presence on the system. And then one thing we have learned is, while we can do all this, we do need a strong marketing and a team that can create a brand image of Gyaniki. And it takes a lot of patience to get it there. And we have actually a very good designer who's supporting our social media outreach. And then again, a team is coming. At the back end, we do have an IT team, which is taking care of the platform. So today, like in a sense, on a day-to-day activity basis, we are a team of 9 individuals who are doing 80% of the job. And then there are individual contributors that are doing the remaining portion for us.
Awesome. So there's so much to talk about mobility, right? We can go on and on. What's your take about the future of mobility? Where is it going? And before you answer that, let me put this out there, because since we're talking about future of mobility, and it's a very it's a topic very close to my heart, because if you read my introduction on LinkedIn, it says that teleporter. That's the first word I
yeah.
So I am a big believer in teleportation, and I believe that all the transportation is going to just go away. We're just going to be able to teleport someday very soon. So what do you think of this, the future? Where are we headed to in terms of mobility?
Right. So yes. Yeah, as much as I know that you don't like driving around, I will give you something, right?
Okay.
I would say that there was a book from Bill Gates, which was basically talking about information at the speed of thought.
Speed of thought. Yes, I've read that book.
Right.
I was very young. I was in my school.
I'm saying the future is mobility at the speed of thought.
Oh, wow.
Because when you are moving from point A to point B, you no longer will have to stop what you're doing.
Absolutely. Correct.
Like I can be talking to you and sitting in a vehicle without any loss of, transmission or whatever. I could be doing my, because I don't need to concentrate on the road. Absolutely. I don't need to do anything.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's mobility at the speed of thought. That is the future.
Okay.
If you see the latest vehicle, recently a passenger car has been launched in India, electric passenger car from a startup called as Praveg Dynamics. Very unique vehicle. A lot of concentration, apart from the fact that it's an electric vehicle, a lot of concentration for them has been the interior of the vehicle.
Okay.
How the interior mimics what the person sitting inside really wants to do. So listen to the music.
Okay.
Listen to the music should not be a compromise. If I use a woofer at my home, I should be able to use a woofer in the car as well,
Correct. Correct.
without impacting the external
Mm-hmm.
environment.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right? Similarly, if I want to be working on my laptop, I should be able to do that
Right.
in the car
Correct.
without compromising. Today, it's a compromising. We have
Right.
to really, adjust, and then we feel sick when we are typing on the laptop. So
Correct.
how to give an environment and a silent zone
Mm-hmm.
which allows that, right?
Nice. Nice.
So
Nice. Nice.
that is changing, right?
Wow.
And obviously, I keep on even telling my son that, as soon as you say that as soon as you make a car which has a steering wheel,
Mm-hmm.
it is not future ready.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
Right? So those
Absolutely.
things are going to go away,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So yes, there will be a lot of changes,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but the human tendency of moving from one place to another,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that is not going to disappear. The
Correct.
reason for it may disappear. The reason may not be to go to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The reason may change, but
Correct.
the tendency will not disappear. For
Correct.
example, now when bigger bikes are getting converted,
Mm-hmm.
like when Royal Enfield is thinking about converting to electric vehicle, they are
Uh-huh.
also thinking about how do we give the same feel.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
they are going to add additional noise, they are going to add additional vibration,
Mm-hmm.
so that the owner still feels that they are on a Royal Enfield,
Understood. Understood.
right?
Wow. Wow.
So sitting at home, you may feel like you are doing a VR and going in a train or whatever.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So that mental tendency is not going to change.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
methods and means, the reasons, they will
Right.
change.
Right. 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 Awesome. Awesome. So, Shekhar, we don't have a lot of time, maybe another
Yeah.
5, 6 minutes or so. But I still, a little bit deep, I taking forward from future of mobility. I have a very specific question in terms of, do you think that mobility is the step in the door for machines to take over the mankind? I'm just asking you this question just for out of curiosity, and if you can briefly just tell me about what you think of this, because that's where, if you
So,
see science fiction also, that's where all starts happening, because AI
so
is first in mobility. Yes, go ahead.
right. So I would think that that's a 10 years from now question. So that, now I'm feeling that maybe the next invite is not going to come from Keerthi, because all the questions are getting asked today. But uh, let's see. Yes, there will be changes. Now, what do we call takeover, or what do we call machines taking over,
Mhm,
right? That is for us humans to define,
mhm, mhm.
right?
Right.
So it's only for us to define what is there, and there is enough movies made, and there is sci-fi which we have seen from ages
Mhm,
about machines taking over. So it's not new,
mhm,
uh, but there is a lot of change, right? Today,
mhm.
the drone swarms are being used for very peaceful purposes, and the same drone swarms can be used for very, very disastrous things,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And it doesn't take a lot of code change in
Right.
order to do that.
Absolutely.
So it's all coming back in the hands of humans,
Okay.
right? There has to be regulations.
Okay.
The laws of robotics,
Mhm,
if you have heard of them, right?
mhm,
There is a law which always keeps robo as a subservient to
mhm,
the human.
mhm. No,
But
so
AI
I
can
I
overrule that.
I have a
AI can
different,
overrule that.
yeah, I have a little different take on that. Again, we don't have time, but I'll tell you what I think of. I think we are at the intersection of time where human and robots and machines are no different, because if you look at reality, forget about science fiction, but if you look at reality, what Elon Musk is doing in terms of autonomous vehicles on one side, and
Yeah.
then he's also having something called a project called Link, where he's
Yes.
implanting the, I don't know, whatever the Link part is,
Right.
implanting that and making human, maybe half machine. I don't know. So there's a lot of things, but that takes me to an important question, because I'm talking about Elon Musk, and he's my role model. Who's your role model? Since you're into mobility and stuff, who's your role model?
Right. So, Keerthi, on that front, we have we have closer to ground kind of role models in a
Mhm,
sense.
mhm,
And for me, the role models are the companies who have been able to, or the co-founders who have been able to take India into a next level of knowledge.
mhm,
Um, and I speak specifically about domains related to the ones I work in.
mhm,
And so if we talk about, someone being able to set up a niche company, grow it from a garage all the way to a big uh, organization.
mhm,
There are a few companies here, not very far from where I stay.
mhm,
So there is Persistent Systems, Mr.
mhm,
Anand Deshpande. There is KPIT, which has been there and been doing a lot of unique work in the automotive electronics as well.
mhm,
There's a company called Sedamac out in Bosri, who has been, I would say, a company that comes closest to a Bosch
mhm,
in India when it comes to electronics hardware that
mhm,
goes on to automotive.
mhm,
And there is a company that is challenging the testing infrastructure and testing softwares in the automotive side, which is Ansys Technology Solutions. These are all companies based in Pune who have grown from a very small organization, small team, to creating a name for themselves in the global landscape. And
mhm.
these, the co-founders, these people, these companies, that is what I take as a inspiration. And
Awesome.
also, as a company, we look up to them.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, couple of last two questions for you, Shekhar. So one
Yeah,
question is about entrepreneurship as a journey. What has been for you, and I want you to be very brief on this because we're running out of time. So, what has been your
yeah.
journey? Being an entrepreneur. What have been, of course, it's not an easy journey. It's not and it's mostly a lonely journey. But what has been your story about being an entrepreneur, becoming from
See,
a business family and all
yeah. See, I firmly believe that entrepreneurship has something to do with the DNA
that?
or with the upbringing.
Okay.
It's it's not something that you can. It's something that you will catch hold of before you are a teenager.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you don't, I don't think there is a MBA in entrepreneurship that can do anything good for you.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, that mindset or
Uh-huh.
that way, you
Uh-huh.
know, there are kids in the school who start, exchanging things, bartering,
That's me.
taking money for doing homework of someone else,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I relate to that very
That's
much.
the entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the future entrepreneurship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is not something that can be taught in books,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone doesn't have it,
Mm-hmm.
they should quickly find that out and go back
Mm-hmm.
to a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen a lot of people get into a lot of mental challenge when they take that step and when things don't go the way that they thought. Right. So entrepreneurship for me has been able to has been something where I feel today where I am, it's like a digging hole. You keep on digging a hole.
Yeah.
And for me, I've been kind of a serial entrepreneur, 2, 3 companies doing, in less than 10 years. And it's like one hole, you become tired, you go and dig another hole. So you are doing that. You are doing that. And there is water inside, there is gold inside, there is something inside. You will come to know as time moves on. But it's a lot of patience. And so for me, I say that whoever is not ready, get into with half heart. Never do it with a half heart. Never do it with co-founders who are not having the same passion for it. And one thing which I've learned, which I did not have, but now with any new initiative I do have, always know when to stop.
Okay, great.
There's no harm in acknowledging that it failed.
Right. Absolutely.
The biggest harm is in not trying.
Right.
The biggest failure is not trying.
Right.
So, not trying is the biggest failure. So
I think that's a great piece of advice when we talk about entrepreneurship. One should know when to stop, but also one should know, are they really made to be an entrepreneur, or are something? Is there something inside them that keeps them awake all night about the dreams that they want to build something? So entrepreneurship is mostly about building something, right? So talking about that, the last question to you from me is about building India's mobility. Okay, so what's your take about because you are so inspired about the local Pune environment, about the great companies that have been built around. What's your take about mobility when it comes to India, because India is still a developing country. We have actually developed quite a bit. I mean, we've come so far that we have really good roads. I wouldn't say we have perfect roads. At least infrastructure wise, we have grown a lot. But what is your take, from the mobility angle? Where have we reached, and what is the future for us in India?
Yeah. See, there is always going to be a mix. So when we talk about phones, right? The lowest wage earner of India also has a smartphone now.
Absolutely.
Right? So if we talk about phones, we are a developed nation.
Yeah.
If we talk about education, we are still a developing nation. If we talk about parity of earnings, we are an underdeveloped nation. So there is all we can break down the steps and we'll realize that some places we are very good. The mobility will have a mix, because India has had people who walk 10 kilometers to work. And India also has people who only take helicopters to work, right? So the parity is there, and there has to be a solution for everyone. Now we cannot put a aero taxi for the person who was walking 10 kilometers to work. And he cannot afford that, right? So where the metro should come, where the tuk-tuk should stay, right? Where there should be like, something unique that has to be thought about. There is a lot of gap. And the solution space will have things which can get you from point A to point B in 30 rupees, in 300 rupees, in 3,000 rupees, in 30,000 rupees,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
They'll have a different flavor,
Mhm.
right? And there will be someone who's super rich, but still takes the 30 rupees also.
Right, right.
So,
Absolutely.
right. So the mix is going to be tremendous. The choices are going to be tremendous. The good thing is that in the ecosystem now, there are so many companies, so many new startups that have come. They are trying to solve so many unique problems.
Correct.
And every one of them has a positive agenda on the plate. We are seeing more and more of people who are coming back to India and doing work in these areas. We are seeing more and more people who are, instead of going outside, staying back and doing this work. And we have, if we talk about MNCs in the automotive area, I would say it would not be a underestimate to say that 60% of all automotive software is actually coded in India.
Oh, wow. Wow. Awesome. Awesome.
The
So
largest
that's an
companies have,
interesting
yeah,
fact to
the
know.
largest companies have such big R&D centers in India, right? But that what to code and why to code what is being given, that is the knowledge that many Indians have not questioned, right? So that is now changing. That is
Very
changing.
interesting. Very interesting.
And once that changes, I think we have an end-to-end platform that comes out of India, right? So lot of good work is happening.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So this has been very interesting episode, Shekhar, because I got to know lot of things about mobility, a lot of things that's happening in India, and it's inspiring because I'm not a mobility guy, and I don't believe in, like you already know, like I don't believe in driving and riding and all that. So I'm that 10-kilometer walking guy, even though if I have money or I don't have money, or maybe I'll teleport. But thanks so much. I really appreciate. We got to know a lot of things about Gyaniki, and I wish you all the very best in taking this initiative, to places, to different places, and making it more resourceful. Since the vision is that it will be a useful information place or repository for everyone to understand what mobility has to offer. So thank you so much for coming on Coffee with Keerthi. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
Thanks,
Keerthi.
Shekhar. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Okay.